Offering our loving pranams at the lotus feet of our ever-present Swami and invoking His presence and His benediction on all of us. Most revered elders, dear brothers and sisters, Sai Ram to all of you. So many faces familiar. And in fact, I was just thinking, so finally you come to the last day of your stay in Prasanthi for 2019. So actually I came with a pretty blank mind, actually to wanting to know from you all how you've been over the last couple of weeks. What has your experience been? Yes, so we can probably just start off. Brother, what do you feel? Maybe just a couple of words. And while brother is answering, maybe you can get your thinking caps on and keep your hearts and your minds open.
Salam everyone. I think this trip, Prasanthi 2019, has been a lot about thinking and realization, keeping an open mind. Swami is very unpredictable. He always says, accept my uncertainty.
Love my uncertainty.
Love my uncertainty, sorry.
Actually, that's a good point, because far from loving his uncertainty, we don't even accept his uncertainty. So from first accepting his uncertainty, then we have to go to loving his uncertainty. Right.
And
I guess I see a lot of tired faces here. I'm sure Parthi heat has taken its toll on all of you. Right? I guess the rooms and all the mosquitoes. I think you've been doing a blood donation camp. Pretty much feeding all the mosquitoes of Prasanthi Nilayam. They must be so grateful to you. Australian blood from down under. Of course, on the cricket front, I think you don't have much to look up to. Are you clapping for me? I see. So I was just telling some of the brothers over here, T20s you couldn't make it, tests you couldn't make it, one-dayers you couldn't make it. When are you guys? That's why I guess you wanted to migrate off to India, is it? Try to avoid the Australian summer. Oh, that's why you invited Sri Lanka now. Let's see what you do with them. I think they've been wanting to win a few matches. It's a good time to be in Australia. No, just kidding. I have been any sisters over here? Any couple of thoughts? A few thoughts? No thoughts? Blank mind, just like mine. When I was thinking about all of you guys and what you have kind of experienced over the last 2 weeks, I don't remember any other group after 2011 that has been blessed as much as your group has been blessed. Believe me, I've seen a lot of youth groups, but you guys seem to be the apple of Swami's eye. Like what we have not done in 15 years of our stay over here, you have done it in 2 weeks. Right? You have done Omkar Suprabhatam in Prasanthi inside the mandir. You have done bhajans in the morning. You have done programs in the evening. You have been to Trai Brindavan. Okay, that's something that no other group gets to do. You've actually entered into a residence where Swami spent, so I think Trai Brindavan was inaugurated in 1974, the current Trai Brindavan. Right? Before that, there was the old bungalow. But you have actually entered into a house of Swami. I don't think any other group, especially from abroad, has actually got an opportunity to do that. You have had some of the most classical speakers, like speakers whom we die to listen to. I have not heard Vijayamma Garu live. I have only heard her on video. You guys have heard her live. It just doesn't get bigger than that. Okay, you have, that's why I was thinking, what an incredible set. I mean, Swami, you can't be more partial to anybody than this. This is not fair. Just because you guys couldn't win cricket doesn't mean you guys... It doesn't mean that you can come here and rule over Prasanthi, okay? Prasanthi belongs to us. Sorry? We can have a cricket match? Someone challenging us? You want to lose in India as well? Yeah, and even as I was reflecting on what you guys have gone through, I cannot thank Swami enough, for the incredible opportunities that he has given. We all know that nobody can come to Prasanthi without his willing, right? Without his... But I guess, he has handpicked each and every one of you to be here. And I'm sure that each one of you will have something to take away from here, positive or negative. Believe me, it's not always positive. There can be a lot of negative when you are here in Prasanthi. I'll tell you the reason why. And you may actually wonder, why are you telling us this on the last day of our stay over here? I'm sure a whole lot of you have had terrible health problems. Yes? Health issues? I'm sure all of you have had a lot of physical discomfort. Yes? I don't even have to open my eyes. I know that. It was once when Swami was asked, in fact, there was a time when I was in 1992, when I was in the higher secondary hostel, in the senior boys hostel, we didn't have fans in our rooms. I cannot even believe to this day how I stayed without fans. Right? Today there are fans and still I'm sweating. Okay, but there was a time when I actually spent a whole 3 years without fans in the rooms. And you will not believe it if I tell you that the first set of fans in Swami's educational institutions came in the Gokulam, in the cow shed. Yeah, the cows had access to fan and air even before the students had. And I remember a really, funny experience when fellows were like, oh, sorry, thank you. But you're actually covering Swami's. No, I'm okay. You can just keep the fan quite, yeah. Thank you so much. So, thank you so much, brother. Yeah, you can. So, our warden, a lot of students went up to our warden and said, "Sir, this is not fair. How can the cows have fan and even we don't have fan?" And the warden had no other answer, but what came out of his mouth was so creepy and it was so kind of funny. He said, "The cows give milk, what do you give?" Right? It was like, and that's where the debate ended. The reason I'm telling you this is, a lot of devotees went up to Swami and said, "Swami, why don't you give cots for students? We all used to sleep on the ground. Even to this day, we sleep on the ground. Right? Why don't you have fans? Why don't you have physical comforts?" It was not like Swami did not have access to technology or the best, And Swami said at that time that when you come to God, right, the sheer grace that, overwhelms you, that you have to undergo, there is so much of past that you have accumulated, and for God's grace to, hasten the whole spiritual progress of the soul, you have to, kind of start undergoing the fruits of your action, if you may call it so, And so there has to be a way to fasten the whole process. And so Swami said, you will almost every time notice that you will have tremendous physical discomfort and even ill health when you first come to Swami. Because that's how your cleansing process has started. All of the negative that has been accumulated so far, is getting, cleaned up. So much so that, oftentimes they say that if you lose your chappals, it is like losing your prarabdha karma. It is like losing your past karma. It's a positive way of looking at life. So, even while you have undergone all of this physical discomfort, be sure of one thing, is that the cleansing process has definitely started. And that's why I wanted to introduce you to 3 R's. I'm sure you must be knowing about it. That whenever you come for a pilgrimage like this, spend a lot of time, I'm sure you have, and through all of the talks that have been given to you and all of the places that you have visited, right? Now there will be a churning process. And if it has not started, then it better start now, when you're on your flight back tomorrow to Australia. The first R is reflection. Start reflecting upon every single moment that you have spent, the good and the bad, and even the ugly. Okay? All of the moments, start reflecting on it. Because remember one thing, and this is something that I believe in very strongly, that unless Swami wants a particular thing to happen in my life, it cannot happen. Right? If he is the divine wire puller of my life, which he is for each one of us, then there can be no person, no incident, no event, no situation that can come into your life without his willing it. Right? Which means everything that has happened to you is exactly ordained by him. Make sense? So now let's start thinking, Swami, I couldn't make out what exactly does, for example, I hate that guy, but I happen to meet him every day. Why is that happening? I don't like this particular situation, but I happen to be encountering the situation every single day. Why is that happening? It's happening for a reason. So that's reflection. The second, after reflection, is what has happened to you listening to all of these stories, and that's why I'm going to tell you very, very few stories. I'm sure, that may kind of make you frown, but I don't think you have heard less stories, right? I mean, after listening to Vijayamma Garu, Sai sir, Ravi Kumar sir, and all of those lot, I don't think I have anything more to tell you, more fantastical stories to tell you more than that, right? You have actually seen fantastical things. Sai sir was telling me that there were some 3 tremendous things that happened when you were listening to Vijayamma Garu. There was a monkey playing all over the place. And how incredible is that? So, there's nothing that I can tell you more about, more Swami stories. I will tell you though, right? But all of those stories, what it goes to do is the second R, and that is it recharges you. So the first one is reflection. The second is recharge, right? But our journey doesn't end over there. What do we do with all of this recharge and reflection? Somewhere along the way, we have to start making resolves. Right? We have to resolve something for ourselves. How is this Parthi Yatra going to change my life? I personally believe that if this Parthi Yatra cannot change your life, believe me, nothing in this world can change your life. Because it's the sheer kind of exposure that you have got. A new country, new food. By the way, so how many thumbs up for FC versus how many thumbs up for North Indian canteen? Who likes North Indian canteen here? Wow, okay, a few hands. And FC? Nobody? Oh, sorry. Oh, you don't know what is FC? Foreign canteen, Western canteen. Okay, so over here we have a lot of short forms. So PC is called Purnachandra, YM is Yajur Mandir, KH is Kulwant Hall, FC is Foreign Canteen. We have short forms for everything. There's one brother whose name is Ganesh in Radio Sai. He's a dancer. He's called, his initials go KVSK Ganesh. So we don't call him Ganesh because there are plenty of Ganeshas in Prasanthi. So we just call him KVSK. Okay, and then KVSK became Kawasaki. Okay, so now his name is like Kawasaki Ganesh. And think about it, so ironical because Kawasaki is bigger than Ganesh. We could have might as well just gone back to calling him Ganesh. But for some reason he's called Kawasaki. Okay, so we have some crazy, short forms. So sorry for that. Western Canteen. How many of you like Western Canteen? How many of you have lost weight? You think all your pants becoming loose? No, that's not happened? Wow, that's good. So Prasanthi has taken good care of you. Otherwise your parents are going to come kill us tomorrow. They'll be like, what did you do with my kids? Right? So all of these experiences eventually must go to something called building a resolve. Right? So recharge, reflect, and resolve. Resolve, what do you want to do? And that is where I wanted to talk to you about, what my talk is about today. I'm sure you have seen this letter of Swami plenty of times, but I just thought that I will share with you my thoughts and let's have like a discussion or like a study circle, if you may call it that, okay? You all know this, right? From today, I believe your mission has begun. Right? This is a beautiful letter. If you have not read it, read it, and I'll give you an opportunity to read it. And not just read it, but reflect and resolve from this letter. Because probably this is the most epic letter that God had written to man. This was a letter that Swami had written to Charles Penn. Okay, way back in 1979, and even to this day, every word of it is so beautiful, is so powerful. And it is something that I read on a day-to-day basis, so much so that I've almost memorized it. So the first thing that Swami says, your mission has begun, my devotees. These are my words to you. You have a unique and valuable part to play in this lifetime. Only those whom I have called can serve me. Right? What a beautiful line. You have a unique and valuable part to play in this lifetime. All of us know, all of us have heard about the fact that the human birth is supposed to be blah, blah, blah. Right? It is supposed to be the most unique, etc. So let me just talk to you about, all of you have seen Sai Gita, right? You have not kind of physically seen Sai Gita, but you know that there was somebody like Sai Gita. Any of you have not heard of Sai Gita? Okay, Sai Gita was Swami's pet elephant. Right? You have seen a number of photographs. You know stories about her? So she came to Swami when she was 3 months old. Okay? So when Swami had been to the Bandipur forest, this was one 3-month-old elephant who had lost its mother. And the moment Swami entered into Bandipur forest, she came running towards Swami, and she just wouldn't leave Swami for the next 2 days. And so Swami decided that he will bring Sai Gita along with him to Prasanthi. And do you know, in those days, Sai Gita would get an interview with Swami every day. She would actually walk into the interview room door. In fact, the interview room door has 2 big doors. Okay, and those 2 big doors were not meant for big people like us, but for Sai Gita. It was made, for her. Those 2 big doors. And God only knows what discussion went on inside, but Swami would spend about 15-20 minutes with Sai Gita inside. Every day, Sai Gita would walk into the interview room and then have an interview with Swami and come out. Right? Eventually, her interview stopped when she outgrew the door. When she could not fit into the door anymore, that's when her interview, stopped. But the most incredible thing about Sai Gita was that, she lived bang opposite to our hostel. Where the indoor stadium is right now, that is exactly where Sai Gita used to live. When Swami would start from Prasanthi Nilayam, which is a good 1.2 kilometers away, right? When Swami would start, when he would leave Prasanthi Nilayam, we would know because Sai Gita would run to the gate and she would stand. She would know exactly when Swami leaves Prasanthi. And we called ourselves devotees. Right? She just would have that sixth sense that Swami is going to come. And seeing Sai Gita run to the gate, we knew that Swami was coming, and we would run to the gate. Obviously, all of Swami's attention would be on that side. When Swami would go, on the left-hand side was Sai Gita, the right-hand side were monkeys, which is we guys. Okay, Swami would never look at us, Swami would always look at Sai Gita. Okay, and every single time, unless Swami feeds her, right, she will not allow Swami to go. Just imagine a full-blown elephant standing on the road, right? And all she needed to do was just put her trunk in front of Swami's car. She just put her trunk in front. She just won't allow Swami to go. Swami has to get down, okay, has to feed her apples or oranges or bananas or something, and then only, kind of Swami will say, okay, now Gita, Vellu, kind of go back, let me go. Such was the devotion. I remember once on I think 65th birthday, it was 1990. She would be right in front of the entire procession. So Swami's birthday procession would have a brass band, will have bhangra, will have vedam, will have bhajans, and all of that will be in front of, the chariot. And right in front will be Sai Gita. Okay, and Sai Gita would just not move ahead because all her attention will be behind. Because Swami is there behind, right? So she wouldn't, so people literally, the Mahut, you had to kind of, poke her and make her go forward. And then, all of the procession would come up. And I remember, Swami got down and Sai Gita was just there. And Sai Gita kind of, so overwhelmed seeing Swami, she just couldn't control herself. And she just emptied her tank. Okay? She kind of poured over there. She did the pee. Okay, she emptied herself. What do you thought? She started chanting some Vedas or what? No. She started peeing. The moment, and it is like a waterfall. The waterfall starts And everybody runs away, right? I mean, just imagine, it's falling, and sorry for the graphic description. But all the students, kind of started running away. And Swami stood there and said, "Arey, let one drop fall on you, at least you will get little devotion." Can you imagine that? Can you imagine Swami telling, let a drop fall on you, you will be sanctified. You will have devotion for God. That was Sai Gita. When Sai Gita reached an age where a lot of elders in the ashram told Swami, she is an animal. She is a wild animal, right? You have to let, she has her instincts. So let her go into the forest. She has to procreate, because though that's the instinct of an animal. And Swami knew, but he still said, okay, no problem. Yes, if you feel so, let her go. And she was left back in Bandipur. You will not believe it, dear brothers and sisters. A month later, Bandipur is close to 200 kilometers from Prasanthi Nilayam. She ran back from Bandipur forest after 1 month, back to Prasanthi Nilayam for her Swami. And Swami said that she is a Shuddha Brahmachari. Right? For her, her entire life is about me. She did not allow a single male elephant to come anywhere close to her. Can you imagine? It is animal instinct. She was able to overcome her animal instincts for the sake of the Lord. The reason I'm telling you all of this is, in 2007, when Sai Gita passed away, Swami was in Vrindavan. And the Buddha Purnima celebrations were about to happen. A whole lot of devotees had come for the celebrations from across the Southeast Asia, right? All the countries like Hong Kong and Singapore and Taiwan and China, and all of those countries had come down. Suddenly, Swami shifted the entire celebrations to Prasanthi, and nobody knew why. And it was a major chaos for the organizers, because nobody knew why it was being shifted. But Swami's instruction was, I'll come to Prasanthi and we will have it over there. Little did they know that Swami came on day 1, and on day 2, Sai Gita passed away. Swami was here when she passed away. And we were all there when she was being cremated. And we could see tears rolling down Swami's eyes. Swami had not attended the funeral of Ishwaramma, his own mother. Swami had not attended the funeral of his own father, Pedda Vengamaraju, but Swami was there for Sai Gita. And tears rolled down his eyes. Right? And after the whole function got over, somebody asked Swami, what a beautiful devotee, right? I mean, what a dream death for God to be there. So for this, will she get liberation? She'll surely, she would have merged into you, right? And Swami said, no. And this was the punchline which Swami said, for all the devotion that she has had towards me, the reward for all of that is a human birth. In the next birth, she will be born as a human, because the only way to self-realization is through a human birth. Can you imagine that? Guess what? Congratulations. We all have this human birth already with us. Now if we let go this opportunity, shame on us. Yes or no? That is why he says, you have a unique and valuable part to play in this lifetime. Not another lifetime, because you don't know, you probably may become an elephant in another lifetime. Because even that great devotee of the Lord still needed a human birth. Right? How lucky we are that we have this human birth, and so let us not let go of this beautiful opportunity. Right? That is what Swami is saying here. Let's move on. Swami, what a beautiful statement he says. My mission has now reached that point in time when each of you now has work to do. Right? Here is a clarion call of God for mankind. This planet has a purpose in the great galaxy in which it is held. That purpose is now unfolding before your eyes. How incredible the statement. This was written by Swami in 1979, when a lot of physicists around the world thought that this is a an accidental universe. Have you heard of the concept? A lot of scientists like Lawrence Krauss and Richard Dawkins say that there is no purpose for the universe. Why should everything have a purpose? If you ever want to be an atheist, try listen to Richard Dawkins. You'll be convinced there is no God. I listen to a lot of Richard Dawkins because I want to beat him. Beat him not physically, I want to beat him in argument. Right? I mean, it's such stupid arguments he makes. It's so easy to refute him. Unfortunately, he doesn't come to Prasanthi. He only talks to the Islamic people and to the Christians, and he just absolutely dismantles every argument, and you can literally, and he'll be so calm when he does it. That calmness will actually make your blood boil, But those were the people who said that this is an accidental universe. This universe has no purpose. Swami is telling this planet has a purpose in this great galaxy. You know what? Today that purpose everybody is finding out. Where? Through the Light Hadron Collider. Have you heard of that? At the CERN facility? Where people are trying to figure out what is the God particle, the Higgs boson particle. Why is it that the universe was born the way it was born? Yes, we all know that 14 billion years ago, the universe expanded. But why 14 billion? Why not 15 billion? Why not 14 billion and 500 million years? Why only 14 billion? This is a question not anymore asked by philosophers. This is a question today asked by physicists. They are finding out why. Why were we created? It was Carl Sagan, the great astrophysicist, who said, the universe created human beings to know itself. There was no other way in which the universe could know itself, right? Who was there to describe the beauty of the universe? Who was there to describe about the concept of what gravity is and what electromagnetism is? It was only by the creation of human beings that the universe was able to appreciate itself. How beautiful a statement. And just imagine, just juxtapose that statement with what Swami says, I separated myself from myself to love myself. The universe created man to know itself. Right? The planet has a purpose in this great galaxy. You listen to a talk on TED, on TED. Do you listen to TED Talks? There's a TED Talk by a guy called Tom Chi. He makes some beautiful points. You should listen to him. He's an atheist, by the way. But, when you listen to him, it is fantastic because he says, do you know that the entire universe is interconnected? How does he say that? He says that in our blood, currently in all of your blood, including the blood that was given to the mosquitoes, okay, there is something called the hemoglobin, right? You know what is hemoglobin? Why do we need iron in our blood? Because that is what combines with oxygen and it takes oxygen to all the parts of our body. And today we live because we have got hemoglobin, right? Make sense? There is only one way in which iron can be manufactured in this universe. Tom Chi says, there's only one way in which iron can be manufactured in this universe. You know how is that? It's by the collision of two stars. When two stars collide, it is in that extreme temperature that iron is Fe. The chemical, the thing for iron is Fe. Fe is created when two stars collide, which means our original parents are stars. Yes, because if those stars did not collide, human civilization wouldn't have happened. He gives another beautiful example. He says that the only reason why, the first set of beings in this world, on this earth, right? This earth was created about 400 million years ago, right? And human beings started walking on this earth. The first Homo sapiens started walking on this earth about 400,000 years ago, right? But we all started as a single cellular being. The first creation that was a single celled, which was the amoeba, right? It was born in the oceans. Now, because of the ultraviolet rays of the sun, the single celled being could never become a multicellular being, which means we are all multicellular beings, right? We couldn't have been created because of the ultraviolet rays of the sun. Fair enough? The only way that the ultraviolet rays can avoid from falling onto the earth is because of O3, ozone. And from where this ozone comes? This ozone comes from the depths of the earth. And the only way that this ozone could have been, released from the depths of the earth was by meteors hitting the earth. For about 10 million years, meteors kept hitting the earth, whacking the earth, bashing up the earth. And that is what released ozone into the atmosphere, which created the O3, because of which I and you are there today. We owe our existence to a bunch of meteors whom we thought were destroying us. We exist because of them. That is how the entire universe is interconnected. How beautiful that is. The planet has a purpose in this galaxy. It was not by chance. Listen to a beautiful talk given by Carl Sagan once again. It's called The Big Blue Planet. Sorry, the pale blue dot. I got the whole thing wrong. Pale blue dot. It's called the pale blue. I don't know how I got big blue planet. I think IBM somewhere came in my... It's called the pale blue dot. Just listen to it. You will have tears in your eyes. It's only 4-minute video. On your way back, you can download and watch it. I don't know why I'm giving advertisement for all of these people. They should pay me royalty. Right? That purpose is now unfolding before your eyes. And here is Swami's clarion call. He says, I call upon you to radiate that bhakti, that devotion within you, so that its unseen power will envelop all those who come into your orbit. Its unseen power. Swami is calling upon us to radiate our love. Once, oftentimes when Swami would sit in the interview room and, he would say, what is there here? And we would say, nothing, Swami. Right? And then Swami would say, in this nothing is everything. The word Shiva comes from the word Shunya, which means nothingness. Shiva. The word Shiva comes from the word Shunya, which means nothingness. The word Vishnu comes from the word Vishwam Vyapnoti iti Vishnu, the one which is all pervading. So that's how Vishnu comes. Right? So Shiva is nothingness and Vishnu is everythingness. Okay. And while on the way on Kedarnath, you'll see a beautiful board which says, Vishnusya Hridaye Shivaha, Shivasya Hridaye Vishnu, which means in the heart of Shiva lies Vishnu and in the heart of Vishnu lies Shiva. Just ponder over it a little bit. In nothingness lies everything and in everything lies nothingness. Exactly what Swami would say, there's nothing over here and it is in this nothing that everything exists. Just imagine for a moment, dear brothers and sisters, you think that you are experiencing matter. You think you are experiencing the world. Are you? Are you really experiencing this world? Think about it. This entire world is made up of atoms. 99.97% of an atom is emptiness. Then what are you experiencing? What are we experiencing if 99.97% of this world is emptiness? Think about it. I'm not making up these facts. These are scientific facts. Right? An atom, at least nod. Or say no. Or challenge me. Right? You're again, oh my God. Like, don't be a zombie. Right? Yes or no? Have you heard of the fact that atom is empty? If you didn't, man, you have to go back to primary school. 99.97%, I think it is 99.7%, sorry, of the atom is emptiness. Just imagine, which means this is emptiness. Then what is the matter that we are experiencing? We are only experiencing electromagnetism. Our electrons in our body, right, when I touch this mic and I think that I'm feeling the texture of this mic, is nothing but the electrons of this body against the electrons of this mic, and it is creating a sensation which creates a pattern in our mind. For example, you look at a baby. A baby when it is born, it will be looking at its own hand wondering, what is this? Have you ever seen that? A born baby. Just look, it will have no idea what's going on. Like you only right now. You have no idea what I'm talking about. Right? It'll be just looking, because it seems a baby's brain is not developed enough to understand. What it does is, it only understands patterns. It looks at one pattern and it feels that, hey, this pattern is giving me so much love. This pattern is my mother. Hey, this pattern gives me so much of security. This pattern is my father. It understands only patterns. Okay? Basically, what I'm trying to say is that everything is radiation. It is the radiation of the cosmic energy that is there within each. That is what Swami is telling us. I call upon you to radiate this devotion so that its unseen power will envelop all those who come in your orbit. To successfully perform your part, always remain centered upon me. The question that I want to ask you here is God a part of your life? Is God a part of your life? No. Maybe. Hopefully. What? Yes. No. God must become the center of your life, not a part of your life. Right? God is not something that happens in the second week and the third weeks of January 2019. God doesn't happen on a Sunday evening between 8 to 9. God doesn't happen when you're listening to a beautiful bhajan by Ravi Kumar. No. God is, yes, He is there in those tears which roll down. But God has to become the center of our lives. There's a big difference, right? There's a big difference between making God a part of my life and making God the center of my life. Everything in my life, can I center it around God? I don't know whether I've told you the story of the camels. Have you all heard the story of the camels? No? Okay, so here was a beautiful story that was told in Swami's presence. There was a rich, old, dying man who had 19 camels as all of his property. I think you have heard it. Some of you are nodding. Okay, for those of you who have not heard, how many of you have not heard? Not heard? How many of you have heard it? So those of you who have heard it can tell it to those of you who have not heard it. Let's go ahead. Right? No? No? You want to hear it once again? I'm a good storyteller. Anyway, good entertainment today. Right? Okay. So he was an old dying man who had 19 camels, and he had 3 sons. He loved all his 3 sons equally. And so in his will, he left a proportion of these 19 camels. So immediately after he died, his sons jumped upon the will because they wanted to know how these 19 camels were going to be divided. And in his will, it was written that the first eldest son will get half of the property, the second son will get 1/4 of the property, and the third son will get 1/5 of the property. So, what is the total property? 19 camels. What is half of 19? 9.5. How am I supposed to get 9.5 camels? Second son, what is 1/4 of 19? Some such crazy fraction. Okay, I'm not quizzing you on your mathematics abilities. Right? Some such crazy. Again, what to do? What is 1/5 of 19? Again, one such crazy thing. And so, a quarrel started. Who does father love most? Who should get that extra bit? And all of this quarreling started, and eventually, as no quarrel kind of ends, right, it started getting into fist fights. And in India, one fascinating thing is the moment 2 people start fighting, it is free entertainment for the neighborhood. Everybody comes and stands. Hey, come on, man. Yes, man, do it. I don't know whether you've seen it in India. You'll often see it in India. Neighborhoods are created for that only. Somebody starts shouting, no? Everybody will send each other, hey, that house has started today. Let's go and watch it. So a big motley crowd kind of, came around this place, and they were watching, and they were geeing up the 3 brothers. Come on, betting and all that started. And then a wise man comes along that way. And he asks, what's going on? So everybody says, this funny thing, there's 3 sons, there's half and 1/4 and 1/5, and there are 19 camels. They have no idea how to divide it. And so he says, hey, I've got a solution. Okay, what's your solution? He says, I have got a camel. Okay, add my 1 camel to your 19 camels. Wow. First time somebody coming forward and giving up something of theirs. Very good. Yes, please join. So join the 19 camels, 1 camel to the 19 camels. Now totally how much? 20 camels. He says, now you make your division. What is half of 20? 10. So the first son gets 10. What is 1/4 of 20? 5. The second son gets 5. What is 1/5 of 20? 4. The third son gets 4. 10 plus 5 plus 4, 19 over. He takes his camel and goes away. Did you understand? Usually I get a laughter or a clap here. No. Oh, come on. That was so lame. Did you understand? No. Yes. 10 plus 5 plus 4. 19. Okay? The one camel this guy takes and goes away. Right? So beautifully. So this story was told in Swami's presence, and later on at the dinner, Swami asked, what did you like in today's talk? And all of the boys said, Swami, that camel story was really nice. And so Swami said, so what is the moral of that story? And he said, and everybody said, Swami, how beautifully it got divided. And Swami said, no, the moral of the story is not division, but the addition of that 1 to the 19. It is the addition of that 1 camel to the 19 camels which made meaning to the 19 camels. Otherwise, on its own, the 19 camels were only capable of chaos, quarrel and confusion. Right? That 1 camel is like God in our life. And all of our relationships, our ambitions, our desires, our relationships, our wealth, our position is like 19. It's our property. These 19 don't have any meaning without that 1 in our life. Right? That 1 is God in our life. That is why he's saying, to successfully perform your part, always remain centered upon me. Allow yourself to impart that purity of heart within you towards all human beings and all living creatures, and do not reach for the fruit of your work. You know, interesting. All of us, okay, tell me one teaching of Swami. Quick. Love all, serve all. Help ever, hurt never. Guarantee, right? It's so easy, right? Love all, serve all. And everybody says, yeah, you know what, okay. What's the big deal in loving all, serving all? Right? I mean, it's such a pithy statement. It kind of feels like impractical. You know what? The important word everybody thinks is love and serve, right? But for me, the most important word is all. Because that's the toughest thing to do. Right? Ask yourself, love all? No way. I'm definitely, at the moment I say love all, you start thinking about all of those people whom you don't want to love. Yes or no? A big list starts coming up in your mind. That guy, impossible. How can I love him here? No chance. Right? How can I love Manchester City? For all the Man U fans out there. There's only 2 poor Manchester United fans over there. Right? Anyway, so this side, what can I say? Which club do you like? Or don't you like? Or you don't follow football at all? Liverpool. Right? How can I love all? But the most important word in this love all, serve all is all. Go back and think about it. How to love all and how to serve all. Right? What Swami is telling us over here is towards all human beings and all living creatures. Right? Let's move on. This part of my mission, sorry, I got a little excited. I scared myself actually. This part of my mission is performed in absolute silence. How ironical, right? I'm talking about silence. Right? I'm sure during these 2 weeks that you have spent over here, you have had a lot of time to be in silence. Not just physical silence, more importantly, sitting in Kulwant Hall. That's the other thing that I was thinking. The initial part of your Kulwant Hall, they were like 5-hour, 6-hour sessions, right? When you first came into, they were like dramas after dramas after drama. You were like, man, I have my own drama going on. I don't need to see another one. Right? When Swami was physically there, we would typically sit for every day on an average about 3.5 hours in Mandir. Roughly from 3 to 6:30 we would sit. And, literally like people will bring everything. They'll bring their Namalikita Japa, they'll bring their home assignments, they will, their whatever they have to complete, all academic work. We will sit in Mandir and do it because Swami will be inside the interview room or whatever. This simple thing of sitting in Mandir, believe me, what a tremendous impact it can have on you, I'll tell you. One of the brothers who passed out from here, who kind of went ahead and joined a corporate, working in a company, he could easily put in about 5-6 hours of non-stop sitting and working. Because everybody else in his team were like getting up every hour, for a coffee or a smoke break. Right? While this guy could sit, straight 3-4 hours without. Okay? And guess what? He got recognition for that. His boss would come and say, man, what are you, man? What kind of a battery is running inside you? You don't need brakes. And this brother was telling, my mind went back to Kulwanthal when I could sit for 3.5 hours. He said, just the physical act of sitting in Kulwanthal had brought me accolades. Forget the spiritual, whatever Kulwanthal is doing to me spiritually, mentally. Forget. Just the physical act of sitting for 3 hours. Right? That is the kind of impact it makes. And that is the challenge that we have to have over there is, can I remain silent during my time in Kulwanthal? That is what Swami is saying. This part of my mission is to be performed in absolute silence. See, today we have so many of these people, who go about saying Swami speaks through me, etc., etc. This is the part I want to tell. Swami has to do it. If he has to play through us, he has to do it in silence. He's telling over here, you are my instruments from whom my love will pour. Right? We are not ordinary beings. Do you know that just getting a human form, I'll come back to that. The reason why, because it's just incredible, that we don't realize how extraordinary we are. We waste our lives getting sad for no reason. If we just look at ourselves in the mirror, we will be incredibly happy about ourselves. Do you know that Isaac Newton said, the presence of the thumb is enough to prove the existence of God. Because this one thumb is what differentiates us from all other species. You know why? Because of the opposing thumb. Because we are the only species in the world, in all of creation, that can touch itself, the opposing fingers. Our thumb can touch. Right? No other animal can do this. And you know what this makes us do? It gives us the fine motor abilities. Kinetic abilities, fine motor skills come because of our ability to hold this. What's the outcome of that? All of technology is only because of this. All of technology that is known to man, from the wheel to the fire, to the latest Qualcomm routers, it's all because of our opposing thumbs. The presence of the thumb is enough to prove the existence of God. Isaac Newton, not Amey Deshpande. Right? Second, it seems in the chimpanzee, which is the closest to us, the only difference, it seems 99% of our DNA is the same between the chimpanzee and us. The only thing that changed was the falling of the larynx. The larynx is our voice box, right, which I am using now. Right? It seems it moved between the chimpanzee and the Homo sapien, it moved about 2 inches down south. You know what happened because of that? Language was born out of that. All of language and all of the pitches, no other animal can produce the amount of pitches we can produce. We can go from it's only because the larynx moved 2 inches below. And that gave birth to language. So today, if you can understand and I can speak, it's because my larynx moved about 2 inches down. How incredible. Right? Everything about the human body, you go, and this is not my made up stuff, this is all on the Google. Okay? Go and ask Swami Googlananda. Right? And he'll give you that answer. Right? All of this, what I'm telling, is the incredible feats of this human body. And it goes on and on. You know what? Our brain size compared to our human body is the largest proportion. No other animal has got the brain as big compared to the body in proportion. Because of that, they said, we were the first set of people who became bipedal, for Homo sapiens, from quadrupedal, from 4-legged, we became 2-legged. And that created immense opportunities because number one, it seems from, if we were 4-legged, we could see only down, right? By simply we standing up, we could see farther, and so we could sense danger and we could see danger coming to us. And secondly, it freed up our 2 limbs because of which we can do all other things. Okay? But more importantly, it said that while we are 4-legged, our brain is on the same level of our stomach. Correct? When you are four-legged, your head is in the same level of your stomach. While that is happening, a large proportion of your brain only worries about how to fill up the stomach. Correct? All of animals only think about how to fill up the stomach. The moment our head moved above, okay, the purpose for that is, boss, now don't think about your stomach. Now think about something else. How long are you going to only think about the stomach? How to fill the stomach? There was a purpose for which we became bipedal. Our head was supposed to do something else. And you know what? We are the only species which can think about death. There's no other species in this world which can actually think about death. We know that we are going to die one day. No other animal can. All die. But only we know we are going to die. And that is why we plan. Right? We plan because we know that one day we will not be there. That's the incredible nature of our body and our mind. Okay? All of you have to become my instruments from whom my love will pour. Be always aware that the moment you let your ego descend upon you, my work ceases. The moment we believe that we are the ones who are doing it, Swami's work stops. Simple. Right? The moment when you overcome this negative mindfulness that I am the one who is doing it, the moment we overcome it, I again become the source. It's such a simple, beautiful formula, right, to apply in our mind. How do we know whether Swami is working through us? If we believe that I am working, Swami is not working. No, they say, when you have ego, he goes. When you have ego, he goes. Right? That is what Swami is trying to say over here. See this, how beautiful. I have prepared you for this work over many incarnations. Which means, dear brothers and sisters, we are not with Swami only now. We have been with Swami for several janmas. Because he has prepared us for this over many incarnations. I have drawn you to me. I have made great steps in my mission over these past incarnations. You know, I kind of feel so, when I read this, no, Swami is telling, I have made a great many steps. The Lord Almighty is telling, I have taken steps. You know, once one of the brothers was telling us, a very senior brother, that he was sitting with Swami and he had written a poem on Swami, you know, and the poem was as follows. Like, the poem talked about how lucky the locks of hair are, for they beautify your head. How lucky that mole on your cheek is, for it adorns your cheek. How lucky are, you know, the handkerchief is, because you always take it and, you know, put it close to your lips. Like that he had described, you know, about Swami. And in that he had also written, how lucky are these students who are always around you. And the moment he said this, no, Swami said, stop. Swami said, they are not lucky. I am lucky to be with them. You know? And this is one thing that Swami said. It chokes me up even now. He said, I don't know whether my students trust me, but I trust them. I trust my boys. I trust my students. I believe each one of you have spent 2 weeks in Prasanthi Nilayam. You are Swami students now. That's what I was telling you, know. What students don't get in several years of their stay over here, you have got it in 2 weeks. What a crash course. What a crash course. Right? You are students from now. And that is why he is saying, I have made great many steps. He believes in us. Right? He says, my work is ceaseless, and so your work too is without an end. Don't worry, this will come to an end. Our work will begin after this talk ends. This is a beautiful photograph. Just see this photograph. This was materialized by Swami. This photograph was materialized by Swami. Don't bother, sister. I'll leave this PPT with you. I swear, I can leave this whole thing with you. This is a beautiful photograph. You know, Swami looking at Swami. I separated myself from myself to love myself. This is a beautiful physical portrayal of that. The reason I put that there is what he says. Know that I am within you and without you. There is no difference. You are now in me and now I am in thee. which means you are Swami. Please let me know when you will give your darshan tomorrow. Because, see the next line, my darshan will pour forth from me to and through you. Swami is telling, my darshan will pour forth from me to and through you. Okay? You may be unaware of this constant action. As long as we remain centered upon Him, His darshan pours forth from us to rest of humanity. Be ever pure of heart and soul, and mankind in your lifetime will benefit from your unique qualities. How beautiful, right? We are all angels. Swami is there. In fact, I remember one day, there were some standard things that we as primary school children would talk to Swami. And Swami would come and say, Yakad Ninchi, from where are you? Swami, from you, we will say. None of us actually knew what it means, but we all had learnt it, Swami, from you. I still remember once there was a gentleman who had come from France. So one day Swami asked him, yes sir, from where are you? And he said, France. And Swami said, oh, France. Okay, and then in the evening darshan again Swami came and asked, from where are you? And he said, France. And Swami looked at him and said, oh, France. And next day morning the primary school children had come, and so he called one of the boys and he said, Cheppu, from where are you? And he said, Swami, I am from you. And Swami looked at that person and said, see? Okay, and so then this France man thought, oh my God, that is what Swami is from you. And Swami says, no, you are from France. Right? That's how Swami used to play. Because most of whatever we say is rote. He wants us to reflect on that. What does it mean to say, I am from you? He's telling over here, my darshan will pour forth from me to and through you, and mankind will benefit in your unique qualities. Right? This is not ordinary, boss. This is extraordinary. It is incredible. And that's what he says in the next. I'll just read that, just the last part I'll read. Just read from the third sentence. Okay, read from the second sentence, sorry. This time is approaching when all of humanity will live in harmony. That time will be here sooner than one expects. Before it arrives, be prepared. It is beyond all comprehension. I can say that its beauty is magnificent beyond all dreams. And as each of you perform your silent work, I embrace you to my heart. Swami is embracing us to his heart. I embrace you to my heart. And henceforth your souls shall be lifted up, and your eyes will reveal my presence within. I remember one of the brothers telling, when he had just got into form. You know what is form, right? Like when suddenly Swami starts giving you unnecessary and plenty of attention. The reason I say unnecessary is you will only wonder, whoa, what did I do? Why is Swami giving me so much attention? And so this one of these brothers, and tremendous attention he started getting. And when Swami starts giving you attention, there are a lot of people who have negative thoughts about, jealousy starts. Why is Swami talking to that guy? Right? So somebody had written a letter to Swami that Swami, he's actually not a well-behaved boy and all that. So one day Swami calls him inside and Swami shows him this letter. See, this is what people are writing about you. And this brother, before Swami started speaking to him, was what we would call as a rowdy. He was a pretty outgoing, kind of an all flamboyant, all over the place kind of a guy. And he had even when Swami had started talking to him, he had already wondered, why is Swami giving me so much attention? I mean, what have I done to receive this? And so the moment he saw what was written in the letter, he broke down. Because he knew that, oh my God, I think my days are over. My good luck days are over. So he broke down and, he just started weeping inconsolably, because he knew that every bit that was written in the letter was true, was right. Okay. And he started crying. And Swami said, hey, what happened to you? Why are you crying? And he said, no, Swami, because what is written in that letter is right. I don't deserve your love. And Swami brought his head and put it close to his chest. Okay? And then Swami just told a very beautiful thing, which is, it's such a beautiful analogy. Swami said, do you remember when you were small, in the house you used to run in chaddi? You used to wear underwear and run all over the place house. are you ashamed of that then? Were you ashamed of that then? He said, no, Swami, because we don't remember anything. Are you ashamed of that now? No, Swami, because that is my past. That is when I was a small boy, when I did not understand. He said, you are just like that in front of me. All of that, the mistakes that you have done, no, you have left it outside Prasanthi Nilayam. Right? Now don't go out tomorrow and pick up those bags and go back to Australia. All of that is out. All of that is past. Right? This brother was saying that after that happened, no, the moment Swami brought him close to his chest, he said, all of that crying, like he was, and then suddenly as his heart, his head touched Swami's chest, all of that crying stopped. And he said on 24th of April, when Swami left, inconsolably he cried. And when they couldn't take him away, on 27th, when they couldn't take him away from the Samadhi, he just put his head down and he said, I had the same experience that happened when I touched Swami's chest. Tomorrow morning, when you touch the Samadhi, imagine that you're putting your head on Swami's chest. With that, it's all new, brand new. Right? I embrace you to my heart, and henceforth your soul shall be lifted up. And the last part. This I say to all my devotees from the Lord's mountain top, where all the universe becomes one. See, Swami is using the word universes. Actually, it is universe. Right? Uni means only one. But Swami is telling universes. Guess what? Today, we are already talking about multiverse. Swami had written this in 1979. Today, because of quantum physics, they cannot rule out the possibility of several universes being there. And that is why it is called the multiverse. And guess what? The other universe is not somewhere far. It could be right here next to us. Right? From where all universes become one. And then Swami, this is the last few lines. Be about my work, my beloved. Your breath will carry the scent of the blossoms of the heaven. Your example will that be of angels. Your joy will be my joy. Right? How beautiful is this? This is what I wanted to share with you. Thank you. Sai Ram. And before I let you go, I have brought a letter for each one of you. The same letter. I want you to, so it starts with my dear. After my dear, please write your name. Okay, because this is Swami telling you that you are my dear. And then there's another place where you'll find there's a gap. Write your name there also. And finally, autograph for yourself right at the bottom over here. Okay, so I cherish this. I have this stored in my cupboard and I read this every day. And so I thought that I should share this feeling with my brothers who have got so much from Swami, because you are his angels. You are his angels in Australia.